This is VK6ARN, Newswest. We are a community organisation and we've been serving up the best amateur radio news in Australia since 1931. Hi there, this is Clinton, VK6FCRC, and welcome to Newswest. Yes, I don't have an internet connection this week, so hopefully this will get uploaded. Now on with the news.
Hello from Dennis at the WAVHF Group, and may the 4th be with you. My one chance in a year to use that old joke. As you know, the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of Operations Manna and Chowhound has been taking place for some time now and reached the peak for us in VK6 with the Bull Creek Aviation History Museum putting out the welcome mat for dignitaries and invited guests, along with WAVHF Group and WARG members, to provide the glue that made reliable contact with the Northern Hemisphere possible. The opportunity to promote amateur radio and the things we do, such as these commemorations, POTA, SOTA, World Wildlife Flora and Fauna, and so on, to our dignitaries, which included a representative of the Premier and of the City of Melville Mayor. Judith Arrowsmith, whose late father Doug Arrowsmith was a Lancaster pilot in 460 Squadron, was able to speak with her friends at RAF Binbrook, host airfield for much of the Manna and Chowhound sorties. That for us was a highlight and well worth the effort to get it to happen. There are a raft of people and organisations to thank, so stand by. Robert, VK6WHO, took charge of the Australian branch of the commemoration. PARG had an amateur radio presence at Kings Park on the 24th of April and on Anzac Day itself. Accordingly, we thank the RSL and the Kings Park Board, and PARG, of course, for braving the cool night air of the 24th. We believe that this is the first time in VK that amateur radio has been represented at a dawn service. Last Sunday, the 27th of April, our ability to operate out of the Aviation Museum, and indeed from within the Lancaster itself, could not have happened without permission and support from the museum management and volunteers. A shout out especially to Trent and Bernie. The WA Repeater Group kindly arranged for DMR Repeater VK6 RLM to be dedicated to the 4 talk groups for the duration of the event. Thanks, guys. Additional and much appreciated support was received from their members in helping us to get up to speed with DMR for the event. And did anyone hear the ABC Radio Saturday Breakfast Show on the 26th? Club President Dave, VK6KV, was invited to share information about Operations Manna and Chowhound and the role that amateur radio was playing in the commemoration. A couple of people turned up to see what all the fuss was about as a result of that. Overall, I think it's safe to say that we raised the profile of amateur radio in VK6 as far as the general public is concerned. In the short term, it probably does not put extra bottoms on seats within our clubs, but who knows what the overall long-term benefits may be. If we do not try these things and make amateur radio visible to the public, then we will never know. Finally, a shout out to Joe, VK3SRC, and Julie, VK3FOWL, as well as Paul, VK5PAS, and Marija, VK5MAZ, whose sterling efforts operating the special event call sign VK80MAN are very much appreciated. At last count, Paul had something like 1,600 contacts. Joe and Julie focused more on discussing the significance of the operations with their QSO partners. Until next time, enjoy your week in amateur radio. This is Dennis, VK6AKR, and a budgerigar in the background, thanking a fair slab of the VK6AR community.
Hello everyone, this is Clive, VK6CSW, reminding you that tomorrow is the first Monday of the month, time for the Radio Amateurs Old Timers Club of Australia's May Bulletin to go to air. Firstly, though, an important announcement for members and friends in Perth. Monthly lunchtime meeting venue change. As you may know, Perth members and friends are sampling various meeting venues to determine which one will be the most suitable for the longer term. This month's meeting, on Tuesday, May the 13th, will be held at the 7 Mile Bar and Bistro, 501 Wanneroo Road, Balcatta, starting at about 11:30. A seniors menu is available in addition to the main menu. Their website is 7 Mile Bar and Bistro. Just repeating the website, 7 Mile Bar and Bistro. The venue is close to the intersection of Wanneroo Road and Reed Highway and is readily accessible by car or by bus. Route and timetable information can be accessed from the Transperth website. Because Phil VK6ZKO, the usual lunchtime coordinator, will be unavailable for the May meeting, Alasdair VK6ATX, formerly VK6KIF, is looking after the bookings. If you wish to attend the lunch at Balcatta on the 13th of May, please email Alasdair ASAP to confirm your attendance. His email address is vk6 Kilo India Foxtrot @bigpond.com. Once again, Alasdair's email address is vk6kif @bigpond.com. If you missed any of the foregoing, you can find it all on the new and much improved RAOTC website at www.raotc.org.au, or just put RAOTC into your favourite search engine. Click on Lunches and this will take you to Perth Luncheons and all the details. Now some local broadcast details. Tomorrow, Chris VK6JI will transmit the bulletin on 80 metres on 3620 kHz starting at 8 a.m. Please note that this start time of 8 a.m. is an hour earlier than it used to be. At 9 a.m. local time tomorrow, there's a transmission via digital mobile radio on the VK DMR network Talk Group 5. At 10 a.m. local time, the program will be transmitted via the Newswest linked repeater system, simultaneously with a 40-metre transmission on 7088 kHz, again by Chris VK6JI. At midday, or 0400 Zulu, there's a transmission on 28.450 MHz from Mike VK8MA. On Wednesday, April the 9th, we have a D-Star broadcast at about 5:30 p.m. WA local time. This will be transmitted via D-Star Reflector 91C, following AR Newsline. On Sunday, May the 11th, repeats of the RAOTC bulletin followed the 160-metre and 80-metre broadcasts of the WIA News, both of which now start at 6 a.m, and again after the 40-metre broadcast, which now starts at 8 a.m. Just repeating those new start times: 80 metres at 6 a.m, 40 metres at 8 a.m, both conducted by Chris VK6JI. Full details of all transmission times, frequencies and modes can be found on the RAOTC website. Please note that the 10-metre transmission time tomorrow has reverted to 0400 Zulu. If none of the transmission times suit you, you can download the audio file at any time from today from the club website. Tune in tomorrow for the May RAOTC broadcast, and we look forward to hearing your call sign in the callbacks. 7-3 from Clive, VK6 CSW.
Well, thank you.
This is Newswest, your amateur radio news on VK6ARN, originating on the Newswest linked repeater network and HF relays.
Good morning, campers. The Southern Electronics Group would like to tell you all about a fun little weekend away in the rural radio quietness that is Mayup. The Mike Beale Memorial Mayup Ham Camption is on again over the weekend of 16th to 18th of May. This is an opportunity to drag the van, tent or swag down to Mayup and enjoy some quality time with like-minded radio enthusiasts. Mayup is roughly 3 hours from Perth, down either the freeway and via Collie or Albany Highway via Kojonup. There is plenty of room to camp. There are hot showers and a camp kitchen if you wish to use our facilities. The site does not provide mains power to campers, so please bring your solar panels or a small generator. There are plenty of tall trees to throw a line and some good places to attach a squid pole. Main Up grounds are a registered PODA, that's Parks on the Air site, AU3768, so you can be activating a park all weekend. Camping is $10 per person per night, which all goes to the Main Up Progress Association for upkeep of the grounds. We can take cash or card when you arrive. We also have a Facebook page for Hamcampton where we provide regular updates. As the event is in May, the weather can be warm, cold, wet or dry, so come prepared. The fire will be cranking most of the weekend, so marshmallows are recommended. This event is 3 weeks away, so don't leave it to the last minute to decide. If you're planning to join us, please drop me a note at vk6ek@gmail.com. That's Victor Kilo, Sierra, India, X-Ray, Echo, Kilo @gmail.com. This is Darren, VK6EK, for the Southern Electronics Group.
G'day, Mark, VK6 X-Ray Lima Zulu with you. Let me start this bundle of news from me this week with a few thank yous. So this past weekend, last week, not the one that we're now halfway through, on both Friday morning, Anzac Day, and on Sunday of last week, I was part of the special event station VK6MAN. First up at the Mount Eliza position with the Peel Group, and I made a small contribution, some contacts on 2 meters and All-Star. We had a conversation with a station up at the Gero Vigil, that's the Geraldton RSL, with the scouts up there doing their duty, being a guard of honour to the War Memorial, making sure that no nasty things happened overnight before the dawn service. Oddly enough, about 100 to 200 metres away from me at that point, at the State War Memorial, the Rovers of Perth were taking their turns in marching around the memorial, keeping it safe as they do every year. I even had the opportunity many years ago to be part of that Guard of Honour. So, there was that one QSO, Vigil to Vigil. That was nice. On Sunday at the Rafa Air Museum in Bull Creek, WAG members including Anthony VK6AXB and Adam VK6XR, as well as VHF group members and many others, all got on digital and worked stations, but that was digital. And while there was nout wrong with the new tech, we've had it for years now in Perth, I did want to get a signal out on at least 2 meters analog and All-Star if possible. So there was a small problem, and that was getting a reliable signal out of the hangar and, moreover, out of the Lancaster into VK6RLM. And this is where a little bit of ingenuity comes into play, and the luck of just happening to have a crossband repeater sitting there in the car park. We got that set up. I was using a Baofeng 17 Pro on 70 centimeters simplex into the crossband in the car park, going strongly into RLM. Hey presto, contacts possible, and this is where I really need to thank the RAFA for the ability to be able to stay in the Lancaster for some 4+ hours in the radio operator's chair. This is not something that they afford to every Tom, Dick, Harry, or in my case, Mark. I do totally understand the hallowed position of being given that opportunity, and it was surreal. Especially when the sound effects of World War II bombs are dropping through the air, and that was being played semi-regularly outside the aircraft. It really was a mind blow. And finally, before I get on to some news from VK6's RRG and WIE, I want to thank you, the hams, who worked me sitting there in the Lancaster last Sunday. What an honour. VK80MAN was commemorating 80 years since the Allied forces made a series of food drops into the Netherlands in what was variously called Operations Manna and Chowhound. I'll conclude now with a quick note that the Lancaster bomber herself will be turning 80 later this month. And now on to WAG news. The next meeting of the West Australian Repeater Group is tomorrow night, the 5th of May. It's okay, folks, I'm reliably informed that there are enough nominations that no one will be dragged kicking and screaming into a committee position, meaning there is no reason to avoid the meeting at AGM tomorrow. Come one, come all, doors open around 7 p.m. for a 7:30 p.m. start. Tea, coffee and refreshments are available, and it remains a premier monthly opportunity for an audio frequency QSO party in the couple of foot range. Yes, there is plenty of time to blow hot air at your fellow hams both before and after the meeting. Tall tales and true. You can find the WAG meeting at the First Pelican Point Sea Scout Hall, Camp Cornwall, number 12, Australia 2 Drive, in Crawley, off of Hackett Drive, around the corner from both Matilda Bay and UWA. You know the drill, it's a central location. If you live north, head south. If you live south, head north. If you live east, head west. And if you live in the west, lucky you, head east. Drive all the way past the Yacht Club, and hidden on the left at the end of the drive behind some shrubbery is me, the knights who say me. No, sorry, wrong skit. Is the car park to the hall. Hope to see everyone there tomorrow night. Now, not tomorrow, but next week on Monday night, Wyson have a special meeting where there is going to be a show and tell. And Phil, VK6DEV, said the following to me earlier in the week.
Hello. The next meeting of Wyson WA will be held on Monday, the 12th of May, at the First Midland Scout Hall, 10 Helen Street in Bellevue. The Wireless Institute Civil Emergency Network in Western Australia is currently in a rebuilding phase, and we are looking for interested amateur radio operators to become involved. The focus of this meeting will be APRS and APRS messaging in the 21st century. There have been some significant software packages developed to allow us to enhance our operations, and we will discuss and trial using practical demonstrations how we can leverage these new technologies. So come along on the 12th of May to 10 Helen Street, Bellevue. Doors open 6:30 for a 7 p.m. start. If you'd like more information about Wyson WA, please visit our website at www.wysonwa.org. That's www.wicenwa.org. We look forward to seeing you on the 12th.
So the next Wyson meeting is not tomorrow, but next Monday, and it's beginning half an hour earlier than usual. Doors will open around 6:30 p.m. for a 7 p.m. start. Where? At number 10 Helen Street in Bellevue. Number 10 Helen Street is, of course, the First Midland Scout Hall. But just remember, that's 10 Helen Street in Bellevue, not 10 Helena Street in Midland. Just keep that one in mind. They're two different places. There's plenty of time here too for you to chat both before and afterwards. So, with that little bit from Phil, I would hope that it will be a very interesting meeting, and I'd like to thank Phil for doing this. That's pretty much all from me for this week. So 7 threes from WAG and Wyson, and me, Mark, VK6 X-Ray Lima Zulu. Hi, just a little note about VK6RRG and the WAG Technical and General Net. Having it run every Sunday morning on VK6RLM, that's 146.750, or Channel 3 in the old money. And it starts at 10:30 a.m. this morning. Of course, if you're listening in the evening, it's next week.
This is Newswest, your amateur radio news on VK6ARN, originating on the Newswest linked repeater network and HF relays.
Good morning, listeners. Roy VK6 X-Ray Victor. This week's helpline, 4th of May 2025. I don't know whether John still has those TVs. He has 3 liquid crystal display, that's 3 LCD TVs, all with ability to display computer screens. So have a good big screen in your shack, free to a good home. Pickup is required ASAP. There's an LG 4230D.AA. I'll say again, Lima Golf 4230 Delta dash Alpha Alpha with remote. Works as it should. There's also a Panasonic Tango Hotel dash Lima 32 X-Ray 20 Alpha. Intermittent problem on turning on, It works well after that. There's a Panasonic Tango Hotel 42 Alpha 400 Alpha with a remote control. It's kaput, but you can get another one of those fairly cheaply. Manual's easily downloaded, and pick up from John in Perth, of course. And John's address, I don't know, but you can ring him and find out, or email him. In fact, you can contact John on his email, which is Juliet Oscar Hotel November dot Victor Kilo 6 Juliet Foxtrot at gmail.com. That's Juliet Oscar Hotel November dot Victor Kilo 6 Juliet Foxtrot at gmail.com. Don't forget the dot. I also have a Yaesu Fox Tango 101 transceiver for sale. It was working until a capacitor went splat, and may need some recaps in there. It's a good project for someone. Available from Rodney. His mobile number 0421 934 418. I say again, mobile 0421 934 418. Ask for Rodney. It's part of a deceased estate from some years ago. And that's all I have for you. But if you have any ideas for next week, please call me. Victor Kilo 6 X-Ray Victor at bigpond.com is my address. Victor Kilo 6 X-Ray Victor at bigpond.com. And I hope your team won in the election, and I hope the best team won as well. And thank you for listening. I'll be back again next week, no doubt. Cheers for now, 7-3. Good morning, one and all. This is Roy VK 6 X-Ray Victor for this week's helpline, the 27th of April. Hope you enjoyed the opportunity for you. Free to any home. Pickup required ASAP. For you today is an LG 4230 Delta-AA with remote, work as it should. There's also a Panasonic Tango Hotel Lima 32 X-Ray 20 Alpha. Has intermittent problem with turning on sometimes, but works once it gets going. There's also a Panasonic TH42 Alpha 400 Alpha. A remote control is kaput, but a new one is available at reasonable price, $12. And manuals are easily downloaded and must be picked up this week or after the tip. So if you're looking for a big screen TV for your shack, please contact John, VK6 Juliet Foxtrot. It's John. His email address is john.vk6 Juliet Foxtrot at gmail.com. I'll say again phonetically, contact John, VK6 Juliet Foxtrot, on his email, Juliet Oscar Hotel November dot Victor Kilo 6 Juliet Foxtrot at gmail.com. That's pick up those TVs, and it has to be quickly done, otherwise they go off to the dump. And also today I have for you for sale a Yaesu Fox Tango 101 Echo transceiver. Fully working order when placed in storage some years ago. Was part of a deceased estate. It was powered up the other day and worked okay for a short time before a capacitor failed. So it might be a good project for someone to redo some of the caps in there. It's being sold in that state and asking $350 or nearest offer. Pick up only at Swan View, postcode 6056. Also available is a Yaesu Yankee Delta 148 desk microphone. $90 or near offer on that one. Please contact Rodney, mobile number 0421 934 418. Again, 0421 9344 418. And thank you, says Rodney. If you have any items for next week, please contact me. My email address is victorkilo6xrayvictor at bigpond.com. And until next week, I hope you find something interesting. Had a good weekend, good Anzac Day weekend. All the best. Cheers now, 7-3. Roy VK6X-Ray Victor.
Hi there, it's Clinton, VK6FCRC, back with you. And did you know that Newswest is now on YouTube? Type in youtube.com/@Newswest weekly podcast. Kilo Zulu 7 Yankee Charlie. Oh, and before I go, I'd like to thank those watching on YouTube or ATV, the readers, and you for listening. I'd also like to thank our team, the broadcasters, and those submitting content each week. Please stand by now for callbacks after the broadcast, or head over to the vk6.net website and fill out the forms so we know how many people are listening each week.